All right, it's time for some mega news. If you follow this channel, you watch The Hangout, or you just support anything that I do, you'll know that I like to bake a lot of information into them. And the primary ingredient in any baked good is eggs. So make sure that you sit down, pay attention, and keep an eye out. Are you ready? I don't think you are. Let's do a warm-up. If you are not signed up for the Mezco update channel, I would highly recommend it. Mezco is trying to focus on more communication, and they have been using this IG chat to let collectors know when things go up for pre-order, when they're shipping, updates, etc., etc., etc. Now, I know. There's a lot of people that are going to say Mezco doesn't communicate with their customers. Personally, I feel like they do. I think that it's just the information that sometimes is communicated is what people don't want to hear. But if you want to receive these notifications, I made sure I put the link in the description box below. Now, this video is going to cover a lot of news, but if you would like to fall further down the void, my socials are always open, and I'm constantly updating information, news, and all things Mezco. So again, check the description box. All the links will be there for you. All right, let's get it started. On January 3rd, Mezco announced their first convention stop for 2025. Oh, I'm so excited. The first pick of the 2025 convention draft. Mezco picks the Orange County Convention Center in Orlando, Florida. That's right, Mezco Toyz is coming to the Sunshine State for MegaCon for their very first convention of the year, and also for their very first time in Orlando. So if you don't know where MegaCon is and you're trying to figure out if you should go, I'll give you a quick breakdown of what it is that you need to know. Hey, that rhymes. And at the end of the video, I'll also give you a couple of little tips that I picked up working the booth for the last 3 Mezco events. I'll put timestamps, like I said, description box below, but I'm telling you, context is king, and the more you know, the better off you're going to be when you decide to go to the event. He said it 3 times. It must be important. So first and most obvious question I know you guys are probably asking is, what is MegaCon? Well, I'm glad you asked, virtually. MegaCon is the annual convention that's held at the Orange County Convention Center. It's a 4-day event that's going to be starting on Thursday, February 6th. It'll run through Sunday, February 9th. Keep those dates in mind. They will come into play later. There are 2 main concourses. There's the West Concourse and the North Concourse. Last year, the event was held. The West Concourse had an estimated attendance of, I think it's about 190,000. The attendance this year is expected to be between 180 to 200,000 plus, which is the reason why this year it's going to be held in the North and South Concourse. I don't want you going to the West because you're going to have a long-ass walk trying to get back to the North. So just for a little bit of context, if you went to San Diego, the estimated attendance was 135,000. If you went to New York, the estimated attendance was 200,000. So if you've been to New York, you're going to have an idea of how many people you're going to be ping-ponging off as you walk to see the stars from movies such as The Breakfast Club, Doctor Who, and CW shows like The Flash, Superman and Lois, and Smallville. Or maybe you just want to meet your favorite comic book artists such as Frank Miller, Joe Quesada, Scott Snyder, Clayton Crane, Jerry Conway, and many, many more. That was one take. Awesome. Good job, Paige. Now, as a toy collector, there are some third-party toy vendors there, as well as a few pop-up booths that have things like such as imports, comic, and independent artists, all that stuff there. But usually, the big-name companies are not in attendance. That all changed last year when Mythic Legions attended. Now, that booth was very well done. It had a lot of traffic every time I visited. And bonus, a majority of their back catalog was available for purchase. That is a backtracking opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. Easter egg. So, to have a company like Mezco come, that's definitely a game changer. I would think that the setup is probably going to be like previous conventions. I'm hoping that we will see some new reveals, updated figures that are projected to come out in Q1 of 2025. If you're wondering what is scheduled, here's a little graphic that covers the estimated release dates from January to March. Now, this is their first year attending MegaCon, I believe, and they have 2 big other events, New York and San Diego, lined up as well this year, I'm pretty sure. And while I'm trying not to get my hopes up, I do think that this is an opportunity for them to have a few reveals, whether they be showcased online or on the floor. Again, this is their first time coming to MegaCon, and so I'm pretty sure that it's going to be a little bit of a feeling out process, but they are coming, and that's a good start. Baby steps, baby steps. Mezco has advertised that there will be a Mezco/MegaCon exclusive. It doesn't have an S on it like it normally does, so I would think that it means they're only going to have one. But they did post an update on their socials that said exclusives in the caption, but was still living single in the graphic. So we shall see. Of course, this may change just like anything else, but at least you have some kind of idea until they officially announce what the exclusive might be. The last few conventions, they've had exclusive offerings as well as prior exclusives kind of sprinkled in with some miscellaneous regular offerings from the 112 catalog, such as Amazing Spider-Man, Destro, Union Gomez, Aluma Rook, Snake Eyes, SDC Wolverine, Slugfest, and I think Green Goblin. Yeah, I just checked my notes. That's correct. Now, there's no guarantee that they're going to have these offerings or if they'll have extra offerings. I'm just mentally trying to prepare you for the possibility of what they might have at the Mezco booth. Remember, cash is always king, but at SDCC and New York, they also had a credit and debit card system. So if you have that, you're good to go as well. Now, I am going to be there. I'm hoping that it's in an official capacity, meaning helping them out, setting up the booth, etc., 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 which I love doing. But if not, I'm going to still be able to attend the convention, and I'll make sure that I keep everybody updated with what's available, how much it costs, when things are no longer available, just like I have for the past few conventions. Now, honestly, if it were me, I would go to the Mezco booth first. Trust me, everything else is going to be there, and depending on how much Mezco brings, if they put a purchase limit on it, and definitely depending on what the figure is, all those things are going to factor in if this is just going to be available for one day or a couple of days. Again, it's too early, things are still in the works, and even though they may offer this online before the event or maybe even after event, you never know. This might even be a convention exclusive only. Now, I'm not trying to freak anybody out. I'm just trying to get everyone mentally prepared for some of the possibilities. Once the event gets closer, everything will be kind of locked in, and so we'll have a better idea what's going on. And of course, once that information is released, I'll make sure that I update all the social media platforms so you can be in the know as well. Now, in addition to giving you platinum preparation plans, here is probably the most important tip that you're going to need to know before you go to MegaCon, so you and your friends can have a great experience. You don't walk around all day at the convention like Oscar the Grouch. Besides wearing comfortable shoes, bring and wear deodorant and put a little bit of cologne or perfume, you funky ass nerds. I say that lovingly. I swear I do. But in all seriousness, here are a few extra tips and tricks personally that I think will help you out a lot if you do decide to attend MegaCon or any convention. If you buy an exclusive, I would highly recommend checking it before you leave the building. That way, if something's defective, you can go back to the booth and see if you can exchange it. If you forget or you just don't have time, I would highly also recommend that you get a receipt. If something happens, you can contact customer service after the show, say, hey, I got this from you guys, here's the receipt, and see if they'll be able to replace anything that's broken, missing, when the big batch comes in. Remember, keep your receipt. Now, I know I told you to go to the Mezco booth first, but I didn't tell you what day to go. I would highly recommend that you go on Thursday or Sunday. Thursday is the very first day. It's kind of like preview night. The hours are going to be between 4 and 9 p.m. The reason why I recommend going to Thursday is because that's the first day. God bless you, Oscar. If you're trying to score an exclusive, that would be the best day to be able to grab whatever they have. Now, over the past few conventions I've worked, usually Saturday is the busiest day, and most of the time the exclusives are gone, and anything extra that they would have had is also gone as well. So if you're trying to get the exclusive, again, I would highly recommend Thursday, first booth stop. Sunday is more of a chill day. Everything is kind of slowed down. Most people are just trying to either leave because they're too tired, or they're just trying to find deals with other small vendors. Usually the booth is a little less crowded, which gives you a better chance to take pictures of figures if you want, or get better looks. I just personally would go Thursday or Sunday, and I would avoid Friday and Saturday, because those are going to be the busiest days. So you're probably wondering where you're going to get tickets. Now, here is the list of the current prices for each day. Again, information is down below. As of this time, making the video, tickets for those days are all open, but they are going to shut that off and start pricing everything at more of a premium. So I would highly recommend, if you're deciding to go, to try to jump on it now. They also have family rates, but Saturday is already sold out. Again, you don't want to go on Saturday, and you definitely don't want to drag a bunch of kids with you on Saturday. Parking. If you do decide to attend, I would highly recommend also doing prepaid parking. I'll put the link in the description below. He keeps saying that, yeah, because some people may skip. That's what I'm telling you. But this is going to save you a lot of hassle of trying to drive around and either find an open lot or pay the markup price for some of the fields that are located around the convention. And trust me, those places are farther away from the convention center. Word of advice, do not park at a hotel parking lot or a restaurant parking lot, because if you do, your car will not be there when you get back. Trust me, never happened to me, but I've seen it happen. The last piece of advice I'm going to give, I think, is probably the most important tip. Put on deodorant. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Put on deodorant. But this is the most important tip, and it kind of pulls everything together. I've said it before, this is the first time that Mezco is coming to Orlando. So if you do have a chance to go, whether it's for a day or for all 4 days, make sure you stop by the Mezco booth. I honestly feel that this is going to be kind of like a litmus test, not only for Orlando, but possibly for future conventions outside of New York and the San Diego circuit. No, I'm not trying to push anybody to buy product. I think it would obviously help, but I do believe that if there's activity and interest around the booth, it's definitely going to play a part in Mezco deciding if they want to come back to Orlando, like I said, or other conventions as well. So if you're in town, you're attending MegaCon, stop by the booth, man. The displays are very well done. Of course, that's an unbiased opinion, because there's a lot of work that goes into these displays, and so it's definitely worth checking out. Most of the feedback from content creators and people that attend has always been pretty positive. I think what I hear the most is the figures look different when you see them in person. I know this video had a lot of information, but I'm telling you, it's going to save you a lot of headache later on. Again, this is a huge step for Mezco as well as Mezco collectors, so I'm hoping that there's a strong showing of support. So stop by the booth, check out all the figures that are currently out, as well as some from the past and some that are projected to come out as well, possibly some new reveals. I'm sure there are going to be a couple people there that you might know. I'll be there, D Amazing, Professor Heck, and a bunch of other Florida collectors will probably be there as well. Even if you can't get there, show your support online. Make sure you give feedback on what you like, constructive criticism on the things that you're concerned or just have questions about, because there's a lot of different ways to be a part of this. And remember, if you can't, no matter what, they're just toys. So have fun.